Welcome to the 34th script dealing with the maths. And although I was excited, well, I wasn't that excited to get into these nodes, absolute value. Uh, I should have my bifocals on. Oh, I do. It's just not active. Um, enable. I should have the absolute, the factorial. If you don't know about it, it's 5 times 5 factorial would be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Integer division is going to pull things back to an integer and get it away from a float, and modulus will leave the remainder. So I fully intended to go into that, and I thought, okay, I'll go into that pretty simple. I will make a pentagon. I'll make a polygon, and I will grab right here the polygon, the control polygon, and grab the points. And I thought, okay, well, I'll lift those in positive, negative. I'll deal with absolute, turning everything positive. That's where I'll begin. I'll amplify it by factorials. I'll do some integer division, and I fully intended to do that. However, I thought instead, let's cut that list down by 1, and I'll just leave this for a second and exit. Go back into maybe shaded and put everything on. It's quite a complex, cool, kind of pizza-looking geometry playset toy. So I went in and got my points, and I thought, okay, I'll take those. And then I was going to start moving them. When I moved them in the space of a vector, moving from these points back to center. So I moved them out. I drew a line between them thinking, okay, I'll use that for supports to build something. And like I said, I was fully intending going in the numbers, and I found point on curve, which are these points, and I thought, well, I could slide those along both ways, no problem. But then I ended up just getting sidetracked, and I took those points for a ride, if we follow them down to here, and I lifted them up. But when I lifted them, I wanted to, of course, do what I always do, which is do a jitter node in a z direction with an amplification. So I can actually, if I wanted to seed that differently each and every time, I'll just pop this in here, and I'm going to take off this ungroup. I could have those geometries dancing, as many as I want, as they do-si-do all around and change the form of what's there. And you can see how just that little node, that little jitter on there is going to make some pretty cool pizza box forms. Actually, this is one of the best scripts I think I've written in a long time. So, and it's on my own, just being playful. That said, I've got my points. I figured, well, let's make arcs between them. Let's have these. Let's draw this interpolated top curve along with these arcs, and you could even look at the bottom ones. And let's grab these ones, and let's just find a way with that little seed to make some funky geometries. And I'm like, yes. So this is for all those jewelry people out there, the ARA people that are asking me for kind of scripts and ideas. All I did was take that and loft it, and I got some funk. And of course, I piped it and got some other geometric funk, and that's about it. And I thought, well, don't stop there. Look at the Ohm tutorials. They're always box morphing. They're always sticking things on here. Like, that's a cool little thing, I'm okay with it. Let's put some stuff on it. So I did the old surface deconstruct prep, and when I looked at it, I realized, oh man, those are untrimmed surfaces. I need to get at the untrimmed surfaces in order to do a divide domain. I couldn't just do it out of a brep. It wasn't working. So I'm able to grab those faces and pull them in on, I went from a U-value of 10, so I could keep my objects kind of boxy, or based on whether I use capped holes on cones, or cylinders capped, or spheres, or boxes. Then I just did a random kind of extrusion of those being popped onto this surface, and still have some pretty cool twisted box geometry here. So there, you've got that box. You don't have to use that box. You can use that box, this sphere, that, or that. And basically, in doing so, you just have to swap these out, and you can see your geometry updates in a matter of seconds, to the cylinders distorted, to the spheres distorted, which is more like stones, I think, like really beautiful. And if you put this on and take it off, you'll start to see the color. Actually, I think if I put it on, you'll see the color, but you have to go over to render to see that. And there you go. You got some really crazy toy-like geometry. And what did I do that blew that all apart? Well, if I put that geometry in there, I should remember to put that box geometry down into here. And if you don't put it in your bounding box, then you're just going crazy with items. So whatever you drag into your geometry, put it back in as your content to your bounding box. And there you go. And it'll update. You got a few second script. Pretty fun. Turntable is always nice. I'm starting to use that more as just getting a sense of what I have, and pop and jig things around as you go. Now my color is like a painter. This is a trademark Wickerson Studio thing to do. I want to make a mess. When I make things, I make a huge mess with chainsaws, my backyard, everything. And there's my kind of sense of pulling in colors. and I just do a mishmash, and I don't get rid of this. I just enter it into every script. And what I do when I end up with a bunch of geometries, I just blow it open into an explode tree and the different paths I throw in the color. You don't have to do that. I'm certainly, I think there's an art to just looking at this stuff. This makes me happy just to look here, to know I've made a coded, scripted thing that I believe will end up on the walls of a museum or gallery somewhere over here on the right, but I think on the left. 5-minute script, pretty fun. Let's go back in and take a look at those spheres because they made me feel pretty good. And like I said, bring them in. Make sure you put them in the bounding box as well, and you get some control. And you can model this easily at a pipe, large flat stones of plaster. This could be manufactured. It could be small. It could be large. It could be a ring. It could be cast. It could be a large sculpture. It could be a playground. I mean, it's endless. Somebody better just get out there and hire Wickerson. I'm trying to put it into my sculpture program, in some fashion. But to me, it's an entire other design program out there. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm certainly interested in learning as much as I can about it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm getting kind of lonely here making 30, 40 videos, and I'm planning 1,001 ways to skin a cat. Thanks for watching.